Hi guys, welcome back, and today I'll be doing the next part for What If Bardock Escaped. Now, last time we saw what would happen during King Cold's Revenge arc, with a star appearance in Cooler, making the battle a lot harder for our heroes. However, thanks to some teamwork and Gohan's power awakening, they managed to pull out a win. But this caused another villain to start planning out something differently. So let's get going into this part. We see our heroes training once again, having recovered from their most recent battle, and the Saiyans have one thing on their mind: mastering the Super Saiyan form and increasing it further. But one Saiyan is thinking something different. Bardock is thinking on a chance he had heard and felt. Paragus made a gamble during that battle, and Bardock thinks he can make it pay off. You see, with the idea of using the Ozaru and the Super Saiyan form, it's something that really interests Bardock. But for now, he wants to train up Super Saiyan. So for a while, he leaves it as a back burner. The group continue their training, and a few years begin to pass. However, one day Goku is struck by a disease. Of course, everyone's worried, and Goku's condition grows worse and worse and worse, soon to the point where they all know he's going to die. But thanks to Bardock's quick thinking, and being on Namek for years, he understands that Shenron can't bring him back from the dead after dying of natural causes, but curing a disease should be nothing. Everyone hearing this would begin to rush off and collect the Dragon Balls, and soon make a wish to cure Goku's heart virus. Of course, this works, leading to Goku being fine and healthy. This leads to there being no future timeline. This means no time travel. And that also means this is our main timeline. Time begins to pass once again. But one day, when she feels like no other, they get a call off Vegeta, who starts screaming how three different cities are being attacked by some sort of superpowered people, and he can't sense them at all. Everyone takes a moment to try and sense them as well, and they can't feel anything. Immediately, the group go into a bit of a panic. They decide that they need to split off and take out these threats, or at least figure out what they are. After a bit of discussing, Vegeta and Tarbell, alongside the humans, decide they'll head over to East City. A team of Piccolo, Tora, and Broly will head over to North City, and Bardock, Goku, Gohan, and Raditz head towards South City. Everyone's unsure of what they'll find, but they need to make this fast. Over in East City, the group arrive and can't sense anything, but explosions continue to happen throughout the city. The group begin to panic as they rush towards the explosions, where they find two people who look to be very young. They're just firing off key blasts and killing civilians. The pair soon see the group. They look them up and down, and the boy says, "None of these are Goku, sis, but we should at least have some fun with them, right?" The female nods her head, and of course the people in front of the group is Android 18 and 17. But our group has this never revealed to them. The team here aren't too familiar with the Red Ribbon Army. The only one who really remembers something here is Krillin, and it's very vague. For now, our heroes don't know these are related to the Red Ribbon Army, or even Dr. Gero. Now, when a fight eventually breaks out, Vegeta and Tarbell, being already in their grade 4 state, try their best to keep up with the androids, but there is too much of a power difference. The humans seeing this also jump in, but there's nothing they can do. Can't even level the playing field. These androids are just too strong. Slowly, people are getting hit harder and worse over time. The only reason they're able to keep up at this point is thanks to their teamwork. Slowly over time, they start losing ground. But the princes keep fighting. They try to help the humans stay in this for as long as possible. They need all hands on deck for this. The humans do bring up maybe retreating, but Vegeta's pride won't allow it. As they already knew this, they continue to fight on, hoping that someone else will show up to give them a hand. The group that was heading towards South City soon arrive, but what they find is a completely empty city. They can sense no life within the streets or in the buildings. They begin to search around, look for any sign of life, but nothing is found. Even the buildings are empty. Cars, everything. But Piccolo can hear some footsteps off in the distance. They sound metallic of sorts, and soon the heroes rush towards it and find Android 14 and 15. The pair are happy to see the Namekian and some of the Saiyans. They quickly scan them up and down, seeing none of them as Son Goku. They decide to finish this fight fast and then find the other one. They rush towards the fighters, and the group have to quickly power up. They begin to clash, and they are able to hold their own slightly thanks to Broly being part of this team. This means that Broly's amazing power is able to contend just below that of Android 15's. He can just about fight him one on one, however, he does soon start to lose ground. It doesn't help that Toro and Piccolo aren't able to hold off 14 too well, leading to Broly getting double teamed very often. Of course, he's able to fight relatively level, but it's just every now and again 14 will jump in and land some hits. Piccolo and Tora can keep 14's attention quite well, but he is so much stronger than them, it's causing a lot of problems. In North City, it's different. Only one building was destroyed, and as our heroes arrive, they see a man flying in the air, scanning the surroundings. He soon locks eyes with Goku when he smiles. Well, would you look at that? I guess I'm a lucky man today. Not only did I get the good doctor to let me out of the pod, but I also got a chance at the big fish of this planet. Ain't that right, son Goku? Everyone's confused, as he knows who Goku is, and something about a good doctor, they're really confused. As the man continues saying, Oh yeah, I should formally introduce myself. I am Android 13, made by the great Dr. Gero, a scientist of the Red Ribbon Army. I'm sure you remember them, don't you, Goku? Goku flinches up a bit at hearing this, but isn't shaken, as he asks what he wants, as the android responds, Well, I'm a simple man, Goku. I'm here to kill you and your family, which, from where I stand, shouldn't be too hard of a job. So, I'll give you some options. We can do this where I kill you first, and then your family will join you in Overworld. Or, my favorite way, I could kill your family, then you. Hearing this, the group get ready to fight as 13 scans the Saiyans with a smirk on his face. He sees that in this group, Raditz is the weakest link as he rushes towards the long-haired Saiyan. He tries to block the attack but is easily overpowered. As the Saiyans start to fight off the android, they soon realise that they can't even land a blow, with Bardock having the feeling that the android is even holding back. As he starts pushing himself more and the others fighting harder, Goku decides to use his Super Kaioken, which is something he has actually managed to get a good mastery of in this timeline. Doesn't do much, but it means that Goku is able to land a few more blows now. When they connect, they do somewhat hurt the android. However, Android 13's power is too much, and he's able to hold them off quite easily, dodging most major hits and dealing major damage whenever needed. All around the planet, the power of our heroes is slowly dropping as they start losing their fights. Kami on the lookout, sensing this from a distance, tries to figure out what to do. He contacts Piccolo, the only person he has a really solid connection with, and starts saying how they need to get away from this fight. The Namekian responds saying how he already knows that, but he can't. Starts figuring out a plan, but a random card is played by Tora. A shout from Tora of Kaioken surprises both Broly and Piccolo. This is a technique no one knew Tora could use, and the only person who did know was Goku. Tora's power increases massively as he activates his Super Kaioken, as he fires off a massive blast which hits both androids. This sends them flying miles away. From where the three fighters are, they have a few seconds to get away from this fight. Piccolo shouts out that they need to leave. The others go to argue, but Piccolo gives them a serious look and they agree to leave. As they make a retreat, the androids soon return to find the fighters have disappeared. After getting out of the city and dropping their power, just in case the androids could detect it, Piccolo begins to explain how they need to split up and get the other fighters out of harm's way. They agree as Piccolo decides he's going to head towards Bardock's power to try and get them away, and the others agree to go to East City. Now, Piccolo manages to arrive at North City first, where he sees his friends struggling for their lives, but he stays off the radar. He waits for his opportunity to get an attack in, and once he sees it, he fires off a paralysis beam. This hits the android and stuns him for just a few seconds. He shouts for everyone to run, which they do so, but Goku decides to seal the deal. He powers up to a Kaioken times 20 and kicks the android away, as they quickly dash off towards Kami's lookout. Now, over with the princes, they are the only fighters left standing. The humans aren't able to stand anymore, and pretty much at death's door, whereas the princes are on their last legs. with them trying to figure out what to do, which is when Brody rockets in, kicking 18 directly in the face. Tora flies in and shouts out Solar Flare. He blinds both androids as they shout for everyone to run. They quickly see that the humans can't run right now. Making a quick decision, they grab the humans and shout for the princes to follow after them. Them heading towards the lookout, the group manages to recollect themselves. Everyone has taken a heavy beating, with some sensor beams being split amongst the group. They are all pretty much back in fighting shape. As they try to figure out a plan, what their next step is going to be, they all start talking as they start trying to think of something. Kami speaks up, saying how he has an idea, and goes on to explain what the room of spirit and time is, with him explaining that you could get a year in one day. Goku never had gone into the time chamber in his timeline, of course, so this is the first he's ever heard about it. But once hearing how it works, everyone wants to use it. They begin to split into pairs, and Vegeta and Tarbell are the ones to win the game of rock, paper, scissors. It was a massive tournament, and they managed to win. And while they're in the time chamber, the others begin to start some light training on the lookout. After a short while on training on the lookout, Kami senses an attack on the planet. He can feel life forms dropping up near Jingle Village. No one's going to sit at the lookout and let people die. So the group get ready, unsure of what they'll face, but start rushing off in that direction. With them arriving in a few minutes after, they soon arrive to see Android 14 and 15 attacking Jingle Village and the surrounding area. Goku has this hunch that it could be that there used to be a red ribbon base here, and there might be data thereafter. It also could have something to do with Aita, who does live in Jingle Village. But for now, Goku can't think too much of it, as the androids see them and get ready to fight. But thanks to some Zenkais the Saiyans have got, and all of them being here, they feel pretty confident. When the fight does break out, the teams break into, well, two large groups, where they're easily able to hold their own against the androids. They're in fact able to overpower them. This is just thanks to the Z Fighters massively outnumbering the two androids, and also thanks to some great Zenkais. Slowly, the Z Fighters start to win. Broly, Goku, and Tora are the massive driving factors to this. This is mostly thanks to Goku and Tora's Super Kaioken. Tora hasn't got a mastery over it like Goku, but he's still able to use it somewhat efficiently, and Broly is just naturally being so strong. But this causes Android 14 and 50's internal system to start warning them and tries to make them escape. However, the Saiyans won't allow them to, with Android 15 getting destroyed by a combination attack, which was set up by Tien and Piccolo, and was executed by Raditz and Gohan. The group share a bit of a cheer as Android 14 begins to try and escape. However, a Super Kai Goku kicks him in the back, straight into Broly, who cleaves through the android's body, and then Bardock fires off a blast, completely destroying the android. The group all dropped to the floor. This wasn't an easy battle, and even though they were overpowering the androids, every time they got hit it hurt. This led to them getting heavily injured, but they managed to win. The group do know that these were actually the weakest androids, and that won't work twice. They begin to get some rest in the freezing cold snow. However, two familiar faces run out towards the group. Goku's a bit shocked to see an old friend coming towards him. He soon recognizes Suno and Aita. They're both happy to see Goku as they start trying to help him and his friends, giving some medical attention here and there. They sort of catch up. Goku isn't in the right headspace right now. They need to finish what's going on the planet first. Goku weakly thanks them as they start flying towards the lookout. He tells them to come and visit him at Mount Pausa at some point and they can catch up properly. Goku also warns Aita to stay in hiding. He's not sure why they were up here, but there has to be a reason, and it might just be him. Aita understands as he heads off. With the group soon arriving at the lookout, their wounds are tended to by Popo and Kami, a lot better than what Aita and Suno did, however their help was appreciated. After getting some medical care, the group start thinking of what their next move should be. After all, they're pretty heavily drained now, and most of them bandaged up to a point where they need some time to rest. Another battle like they just had, and someone's going to die. Even though they won, it's a victory that they know was quite lucky. The group begin to think of possible ways to deal with the androids, but before they get too far into it, Bardock starts thinking he might have a way to deal with it, but he needs a bit more rest, so bites his tongue for now. A short while of time passes, and the group are starting to plan to deal with the androids, as, like I said, they managed to win there, but aren't sure if they could do it again. Meanwhile, up in Jingle Village, the remaining parts of 14 and 15 start getting pulled towards Android 13, who had come looking for his android allies, but is happy at the sight he has found. He begins to morph and change as he starts to laugh, saying how now the Saiyans really don't stand a chance. But he decides to report back to someone first, in the opposite direction of Kami's lookout. Over on the lookout, Kami also has an idea, brings up the idea of him and Piccolo merging, thinking of the massive power increase Piccolo could have. Piccolo is shocked to hear the idea, but Bardock is the one who says it shouldn't happen. This would mean they lose the Dragon Balls, and for now that's something they can't risk. Everyone agrees, so they move on to the next idea, and that idea happens to be Bardock's. He goes on explaining how he wants to try doing what Paragus clearly thought of. He wants to use the Super Saiyan form with the Great Ape state. He isn't sure how it will work, but he knows he needs to do it alone, since he isn't sure why it affected Paragus so much. After all, Paragus could control the Great Ape state, and he can also do this. It's something he spent a bit of time practicing on Namek, using his own Power Ball. Now, the group hearing this think this is a good chance to do it, but don't really want to send Bardock alone. So they think to send Broly with Bardock. Broly lost his tail as a kid, so this means that he won't be affected by a Power Ball. But Tora offers to go with Bardock as well. He thinks that if he throws the Power Ball for Bardock, it'll mean that Bardock doesn't have to waste a lot of energy. Thinking this to be a good idea, Bardock does accept his friend's offer. As they get ready to leave, a shout from someone grabs their attention. Slowly, a load of androids begin to appear. 13 looks different and starts saying how he won't be allowing them to do that. 18 and 17 also appear alongside three other androids. Two androids look completely the same, looking almost clown-like, and another being an old man who introduces himself as Dr. Gero, saying how he can't wait to watch Son Goku die. With the group shocked to see this, everyone is in rough shape still. They aren't sure what to do. After all, if a fight breaks out, they're in a dangerous spot. Almost as they finish this thought, Dr. Gero clicks his hands, and the androids which look the same and Android 13 rush towards Son Goku. 17 and 18 hesitate for a moment, but after a quick show of a device in his hand from Dr. Gero, the two rush in, while the Doctor watches from a distance. All the androids begin to try and dogpile Son Goku, who only just manages to power up to Super Saiyan, but it knows his body can't handle the Super Kaioken. With all the androids on him, the other Saiyans begin to power up themselves, managing to get to their Super Saiyan states, and soon stop splitting off the androids between them. But Android 13 manages to stay on Goku. Luckily, Broly sticks around to give Goku some support. However, 13 is strong enough to deal with both of them, even at full power. Battle begins to go much more intense, and soon the lookout is shaking with how much power is being thrown around. Kami and Popo have hid themselves away near the time chamber, already planning on letting Vegeta and Tarbell out. But Goku gives them a signal not to. Goku knows that if this battle continues on up here, not only will it lead to possibly Kami's death, but it also could lead to Vegeta and Tarbell being trapped in the time chamber. So Goku manages to break away from 13 for just a few seconds and rushes over the edge, shouting out for all of the androids to come and get some. As he rushes down to the ground, the androids in a rush chase after him. None of the Saiyans are able to stop them, they're just so weak at the moment. But they don't sit by and watch, they rush off to help Goku. However, Bardock stops both Tora and Piccolo and begins saying, Tora, get the damn artificial moon going already. And Piccolo, make contact with Namek. Tell them to have their Dragon Balls ready. And then I want you to fuse with Kami. This is our only chance of winning. Both nod their heads as Tora throws the Power Ball up, as Piccolo begins to talk to Kami, trying to make contact with Namek. Tora throws the artificial moon up, and Bardock looks upwards, while shouting for everyone to keep their eyes down. With everyone hearing this, they begin to look down and try not look upwards to the best of their ability. Bardock begins to change into a great ape, but while this is happening, Tora rushes back into the battle, starting to flare up and into his Super Kaioken. However, the transformation is very painful for him to use at the moment, but he knows it might be the best chance of them winning until Bardock gets into the battle. The transformation starts occurring to the Great Ape for Bardock, and eventually he becomes one. He begins to concentrate on the power of his family and begins to repeat in his mind, defend my family, defend my family, defend my family. Slowly, to activating his Super Saiyan form, he begins to turn into a golden Great Ape, and he can feel the rage that must have overtaken Paragus when he used the state. Understanding why he couldn't control it, he begins to try and center himself, almost taking a meditation stance while transforming. He begins to repeat those words, defend my family, over and over, slowly trying to grip onto something. But for now, he's caught up in this moment of thought. Meanwhile, down on the ground, the group are going through a very painful fight. None of them are able to keep up with the androids, neither the humans nor the Saiyans. And slowly, the androids are tearing through the group. Martin is the main factor in this, being so he's so strong. But the double 19s, Dr. Gero, 18 and 17, are causing a lot of problems. But something to mention about the twins is every time they go off track a little bit and start doing something the Doctor doesn't like, a remote is shown off. They basically keep almost trying to play with their food, but the Doctor wants this fight over with fast. Krillin is one of the few fighters to notice this, and is trying to figure out what is going on. But for now, he can't concentrate. Slowly, the group begins to fall. The humans are the first to go down, and then some of the Saiyans begin to go down. Broly, Gohan, Tora, and Goku are the only ones left standing. And the only reason Goku's left standing is thanks to a quick bit of energy from his brother Raditz. The only reason that both Broly and Gohan is Broly is slowly slipping into his rage, allowing himself to almost be consumed by it, while Gohan is starting to achieve a power through his rage that he didn't know he had. And slowly, the group are expecting something to happen with one of these two, but nothing does, as a huge power appears on the lookout and soon lands near the group. Both Goku and Raditz look amazed as they watch at whatever has happened to their father, as they see Bardock in a new form and a new sense of power. Bardock looks over to the group, asking if everyone's okay. Most of them give a sly nod, and Bardock soon turns his attention towards the androids. In a flash, he quickly destroys both 19 clones, with him then locking eyes with 17 and 18. A shout from Krillin to leave them be for a moment catches Bardock off guard, who looks over to Krillin confused, but Krillin explains how something's fishy. He can't quite figure it out, but he wants Bardock to trust him. Bardock isn't too sure, but Goku says that Krillin's actually got a pretty keen eye, and if he thinks something's off, he does as well. Bardock reluctantly agrees, as he turns his attention towards 13, the biggest fish, with 13 being confident, thinking that he would easily be able to defeat Bardock. But Bardock shows off his true power, showing that he was holding back in the battle against 19, and quickly demolishes Android 13 with just one punch. He then turns his attention towards Dr. Gero, and with the Doctor panicking, he grabs hold of the remote and shouts over to 17 and 18 to get over here and kill this Saiyan. Bardock finally understands what Krillin was seeing, and within a flash cuts off Dr. Gero's arm, turning towards the androids and throwing the remote, saying if this is the power he had over you, I advise you take it, destroy it, and stay out of my sight. The androids are shocked, but after years on Namek and some influence from Goku, Bardock has grown a small soft spot and is sort of willing to let these androids go if they were being held prisoner. The androids don't even thank Bardock. A quick smash of the remote and a key blast killing Dr. Gero, and they leave. Everyone's a bit confused at what happened, but soon they realise that they kind of won. They know now if the androids show back up, Bardock has the power to easily defeat them, so they are pretty much a non-threat. So they all relax. The group begin to talk and try and figure out what Bardock's new form is. Well, at least the Saiyans do. Goku and Raditz are the ones who have taken the biggest interest in this. And while this is all happening, Kami, who hadn't fused with Piccolo, was mere seconds off, thanks to Bardock getting this super strong form, has come down to heal the group as he starts slowly helping them back up to the lookout. Now, Bardock shares as much as he can about this new form, saying how it was pretty much what happened when he controlled his Golden Great Ape, with this being a really interesting concept to Goku and Raditz, as they both share a desire to learn it. After getting some medical care from Kami and Popo, the group feel comfortable enough to head home, and Kami asks what they're going to do about the androids. Bardock says how he plans on doing nothing as long as they don't show up. If they cause any problems, he'll deal with them as fast as possible. Plus, Vegeta and Tarbell should be out of the time chamber any moment now, pretty much making the androids a non-threat if Vegeta and Tarbell come out as strong as Bardock thinks they will. Kami is a bit reluctant to let them just live on Earth after all they did destroy a whole city, but he decides that for now he'll trust the Saiyan's judgment. And to be honest, it's more Krullen's judgment, who was one of his students for a short while. Krillin does thank Bardock for taking his word for it, and Bardock explains how he took Goku's word for it, but from now on in the future, he might trust the bold fighter. Krillin's happy to hear this as the Saiyan squad start heading home. The Earthlings take a little bit more time to get some rest. Eventually, everyone arrives home and they have a bit of time to rest. After a while, though, Vegeta and Taba would come out of the time chamber incredibly strong. The pair are confused as they get out to the lookout, though, as they see no one there. But after a quick explanation from Kami of what went down, the Saiyans understand what happened. They're annoyed that they can't show off this new form they have discovered, and they decide that they'll head over to Mount Paozu. Both, upon arriving, show off to Super Saiyan 2 state, which is amazing to everyone for a few seconds, before they realise that Bardock's new form is actually better. And after showing it off, Vegeta reluctantly agrees that Bardock's new form is incredibly strong. But the problem is, this form is unachievable for him. So he heads home with Tarbell, going along with him. But now, all our Saiyans have goals. For Vegeta, he wants to find a power that can rival Super Saiyan 4. For Tarbell, he wants to get a mastery over Super Saiyan 2, finding it to be an interesting state with not much downfall. Goku and Raditz want to learn and master the Super Saiyan 4 state. Bardock also wants to master the Super Saiyan 4 state himself. Gohan doesn't want to learn the Super Saiyan 4 form, mostly because he doesn't want to risk going crazy during Great Ape mode, but is interested in Super Saiyan 2 and begins to work towards that. Tora, after having his butt saved by the Super Kaioken during today, he decides he wants to master the Kaioken and also the Super Saiyan Kaioken. And finally, Broly is the only Saiyan who is unsure what to do. He's too scared to try and learn the Super Saiyan 2 form, after all his rage could be a problem. But he also can't achieve the Super Saiyan 4 state, after all he has no tail. So for now he plans on trying to master his rage more than anything, and hopefully this will lead to him being able to find something of his own. But with that said, I'm leaving this part here. Everyone enjoyed. I did enjoy this part. I struggled writing it for a while, but I'm happy with how it went. I am happy I've managed to get all the Saiyans into a position where they're all working towards their own personal goals. At least in this case of most of them. Raditz, Goku, and Bardock are all working towards the same sort of thing. But I do enjoy where this thing is going, and I hope everyone has enjoyed it as well. Don't worry, I'm going to try and keep at least Piccolo somewhat relevant, thanks to his relationship with Bardock being a mentor-student kind of deal. It will lead to him consistently training with the Saiyans, meaning he's still growing strong, and I do have an idea on how to keep him relevant. But with that said, I do hope everyone enjoyed this part. I hope you all have a good day or a good night, and hopefully I'll see you next time.